Happy Thursday, September 5th. It's a Plant-Based Morning Show brought to you by Compliment, presented by Compliment. I'm Matt Frazier, joined by Doug Hay. As we've been for like 400 shows now, Doug. It's been, although it's only been 2 years, we crammed in a lot of shows.
We have crammed in a lot of shows.
Yeah. None of them listenable ever again. Really, just throwaway content that is consumed once and then it expires after about a week. Except for my dogs, they still listen to back episodes every time we leave the house. We turn on old Plant-Based Morning Show episodes on Alexa, and the dogs think I'm in the house still.
Yeah, and Katie goes back and listens. She doesn't listen to every episode, but she'll go back and listen to some if I mention that we've talked about something.
Oh yeah, she'll go dig up the archives and find something. I haven't really tried listening to a really old early episode. Except on accident every now and then, but I've never gone back, over a year and listened to a full episode. Be interesting to see how it evolved because, with No Meat Athlete Radio, it definitely changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
Ability to do the show.
I mean, Matt, we've been podcasting together for what, 10 years, 12 years, long time.
Yeah, I mean, more than 10 for sure. We were doing it back in Bel Air, right? When I still live in Bel Air and you were in DC. So that would have been 2011 for sure. Because we moved in the beginning of 2012. So that's been 14 years.
14 years.
No, 13 years.
13 years. Yeah. And some of these people who are commenting right now have been listening since then.
Yeah. All right, elephant in the room. The title on the topic. British doesn't like it. Bianca doesn't like it. Says final Plant-Based Morning Show. That is true. It is that. It doesn't mean we're done podcasting forever. Because like you said, we've done it a long time. We've gotten good enough at it that we can do these things pretty easily with minimal planning. Although we do plan every one of these episodes. Never do we just wing it. So I think and hope we will still do something in the future. But this isn't just like a break from Plant-Based Morning Show. We're going to stop. And the reason this came about was yesterday. I mean, it kind of came about suddenly. I think you and I both sensed there just hasn't been that much to talk about recently, which I guess was a little bit of a catalyst. I hope that improves. I hope the plant-based industry gets some stuff going so that there is stuff to talk about. In fact, there's something good today. We still have some stuff to talk about today. But anyway, I think more sort of a personal or from business perspective, we just kind of stagnated a little bit. We take weeks off now relatively often compared to the early days, but that's just for vacations over summer. I do think we'd get back to normal if we were to keep doing it. But I think we're at this point where it feels like we kind of did what we wanted to. We tried what we wanted to. It's been fun. We've enjoyed it. I've loved it. But I just think I don't think we should. As we said yesterday, we don't want to just keep doing the same thing. We're not going to get anywhere doing that. So we talked about ideas for new formats, new guests, what we might do instead. But it sounds like the thing to do right now that we all agree with, including the higher ups in Compliment. We should call it quits. We should be done. Don't push it on, drag it out forever. And then give some space, and we'll see if we come back with something new at some point. But I don't know if we will. I'm not really sure. But anyway, but this is it. This is the last day. But like I said, we're still giving. We made a show to still do, right? We're not just hanging out.
We got a show today. Absolutely, it's gonna be a heck of a show. But it is sad. It is sad for me. It is sad for me because we have put so much energy into the show, and I don't know. It's been fun hanging out with all of these people, and I mean, incredible that there are people who have been here from the beginning of these live shows and interacted with us and continue to do so. And I'm just really grateful for all those people. So, we'll see what happens in the future. It would not be the show and again, but I don't know. It's been a heck of a ride for the last 2 years doing it.
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, the thing that has come out of this that's exciting to me is the live format. Right, we never did that before with No Meat Athlete Radio, except maybe here and there on a random special or something. But this is a fun format to do, and I like this. And so I do hope at some point we'll come up with something that is that. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, as we were talking, I was thinking about the show, and I was thinking why. I guess it's interesting because in the first year or something. When you're talking about the people who show up, like there was momentum, a big head of steam. It looked like we had found something. And then I think it just sort of oddly didn't really hit escape velocity when it then went to the next level. And maybe that was just because we didn't work hard enough behind the scenes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever. It's been very much fun.
Well, Matt, in honor of the final episode, I have a little surprise for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
That I know you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna love it.
3D printed salmon costume?
Nope.
No.
Breaking out the
Oh,
ukulele. It's the Plant-Based Morning Show. It's the Plant-Based Morning Show. Thanks for coming to the Plant-Based Morning Show.
Oh my gosh, you even wrote a song. Look at that.
I even wrote a song.
Wow, very nice. Your ukulele's gotten a little better, I think, more proficient.
Oh, well, good. Yeah. Oh, it is a nicer ukulele, yeah.
Oh, the ukulele itself
we upgraded to a nicer ukulele.
I mean, that's a big step because those cheap ukuleles, they get out of tune so fast. I mean, they don't even go into tune. They're just not meant to hold anything. I mean, that just brings up traumatic memories for me. I don't remember what the extent of your ukulele playing was. I remember in the early days you were singing and doing stuff, and then did you start bringing that in? Is that what it was?
Well, I was trying to do something different as like an intro to every episode, and I ran out of ideas, so then I started playing the ukulele.
And then we said it's got to stop.
And then eventually you were like, "Yeah, this is enough's enough."
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It's very nice. All right, people are asking some questions here. First of all, Amory, I guess, has missed the previous shows, or at least the beginnings of the previous shows this week. She said Matt has boxes in his office moving too. Yes, moving as well. That's really just unrelated. The only slight relationship that has is that in my new house, there's not really like a good closed door office place where I would be able to do a show very well on a daily basis. If it was a once a week thing, I could make arrangements. But anyway, that had been in the back of my mind thinking, what are we going to do about that? But really unrelated. But yeah, we are moving to a nice, fun place, and we'll do so very soon, actually this weekend. All right, other questions. Well, Britta says we'll keep the Discord alive. Phyllis says this has built a great community. Will you keep the Discord community going? And I mean, I guess I hadn't really thought about that at all, but we don't need, there's nothing we would do to keep it open. It just stays open. It's fine. We don't pay for it.
Yeah. I'll jump in there from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe that will be the thread that lives on and pulls us into the next, whatever the next thing is.
That's right. Yeah.
Bianca says, I could feel Matt cringing to the computer, and I love it. With the music. No, I wasn't cringing. I liked it. little bit cringy, but just mostly appreciative. All right, and then Dale and Allie, I guess, both missed the beginning. See, I blame the format for this show not lasting longer. People show up, and if they miss the beginning, they're just lost. There's no.
So it's the live format that also made the show. It's also killing the show. Okay, got it. Yep. The recap is, yes, this is the last morning show. We decided to end the show. There may be something different in the future, but for now, we're just we're calling it quits.
Yes. Not just a break. I want to make that clear. Right? This isn't just like, hey, we'll be back at some point, and then we don't ever show up, and then everyone says, well, you said you'd be back. We don't know. If we can think of some cool new idea, we might explore that. But I don't think that will come unless there's a lengthy break here, and so we'll give the space and see what happens. All right. Did I answer all the questions here?
I think so.
I think.
Except for mine. Here you go, Matt.
Oh, well, no, hold on. One more thing. British wants to know if she can still get her mug. Possible.
Yeah, right.
Why would you
right?
That?
You've been promising that mug for years now, literally 2 years. No way are you going to bring it out after the show is over.
British, if you want, British, I can send you the files and you can make your own.
Oh, come on.
Order mug. However you want it, custom made. You can put your punk rock or heavy metal stuff on there, non-drinking stuff. What else is British like? A lot of things. All right. What's up, Doug? What's your?
All right, here's my question is a personal one. This is really the only way we've hung out in the last several years. So, are you gonna actually hang out with me now that we're not doing this?
I told you can come to our new house.
Okay.
Now we'll be freed up. Time constraints freed. So now we gotta hang out.
Oh yeah. Okay. Perfect.
All right. Bianca's got to get back to work. So I feel like we should say a personal special goodbye to Bianca
Yes,
if she's still
absolutely.
here, just because she's been on the show
Mhm.
once, twice, I don't know, but constantly mentioned because of her throwing up story. It was really, I mean, she had many good reasons to mention her before that, and we did plenty. I think I got her cookbook. I had that on the show at one point. I mean, I know I got the book. I think I had it on the show at one point. But anyway, Bianca, just a crucial part of the show. Anyway, we will be talking about mycelium and Beyond Meat in a little bit, which is exciting, but Bianca won't want any part of that because of her allergy to mycelium.
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. But thanks for being our junk food correspondent, Bianca.
Yes, definitely. All right. Anything else, Doug, or should we get to the actual show?
We just do the show.
Okay, we'll do it. I don't know how long we'll go, but we'll see. What we have is not really a weather report today. We have 3 articles that we like that are nice wrap up. The Beyond Meat one written by Veg News, chance to talk about 2 brands we often talk about. I like that. I even Googled Oatly news just to see if there was anything special for the last day that I could find. One more Oatly bash session. There actually was a Veg News article about them like 3 days ago about them like trying to get into the sports world and prove that you don't need dairy to be a good athlete. There wasn't a whole lot of news. They somehow had gotten involved with the Tour de France FEMMES. I don't know how you say that in French, but the women's Tour de France, I guess. And they had a team that was in that and finished, and that was good. And then they talked about that baseball thing. They did a little scheme where all the minor league teams took turns being the oat milkers or whatever. Anyway, not worth talking about.
And yet we still did.
We had to mention him. It was part of the show, important part of the show's history, just like Bianca. Oatly is right there. Okay, so let's get to
Mr. Jeffrey. We got to give Mr. Jeffrey a shout out too.
Of course, he's not here. He hasn't been live in a while because he's has a new job.
And Steven
Dunn.
All the people who are in here. I mean, there's so many people who are here today. This is it's been so cool to have all of you have impacted the show in one way or the other.
It's been a very fun community kind of show. Much as big as No Meat Athlete Radio was at its peak. It didn't have like this kind of community where there was this interaction and stuff and people being part of the show and always being mentioned on the show. So I really enjoyed that. All right. Ali says, will you both be at Compliment still? I want to answer that one first. Yes, we'll both be at Compliment. No changes there. Compliment will keep doing what it's doing, just not presenting and sponsoring a morning show for the time being. But yes, both still involved in Compliment. And Matt says, need that morning show mug, destined to be a collector's item. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe. Okay. Here's the only weather report like story we have, and it's not a plant-based thing, but a fitness thing. And it is that it's actually a headline from Best Life Online, my favorite Thursday morning source of content. Why you only need to work out 1 or 2 days a week, science says. And so here's the deal, Doug. At first I got excited. I thought, well, that seems like a nice thing. I can just do. I mean, everyone now saying exercise is like the new, I don't know, what is it? Anti-aging medicine, health medicine, longevity thing. It's like it's. We all knew before exercise could get you ripped, keep you from getting fat. That was like the promises. But now the longevity connection, for a lot of people, including like Peter Attia, appears even stronger than dietary choices. And it's like it's a free way to be healthier for longer and live longer. Do exercise, and a fair amount of it. So this seems like not very much. But here's the details. They use the biobank data, I believe, the UK biobank data, if I'm not mistaken here. I'm actually not seeing that right now. But what they found was, it is the biobank. There's this 150-minute MVPA recommendation that is moderate to vigorous physical activity. And in a week, they want you to get 150 minutes. And that's, I don't know what that does, but that's the recommendation. That's how you get the best benefits for longevity and things like that. What the study looked at is if you do that, evenly done, they call it split training, upper body on Monday and Wednesday, lower body Tuesday, Thursday, that kind of thing, where you're spreading the workouts out over several or many days, alternating, which part of your body you're using so that you're not doing the same thing every day, versus the weekend warrior approach of doing more than half of your recommended stuff in just 1 or 2 days. And then the other 5 days are, less than half of your exercise total. So more like recovery days. And what they found with this study, 8 years of data they analyzed, found that people who did the weekend warriors, the 1 or 2 days a week people, in terms of dementia, Parkinson's disease, stroke, other psychological disorders, they found the weekend warriors were more cognitively healthy than their inactive and their active counterparts. And that means more healthy than the people who didn't meet the minimum at all, and more healthy than the people who met it but did it evenly kind of spread out, that split training idea. So this is pretty good for like a long runner person like yourself, Doug, who gets most of their hours maybe in only one really long workout a week. I know you've been doing more than that recently, so I wouldn't call you a 1 or 2 times a week guy.
Yeah.
But for a lot of runners, that is the reality of how they train. So I think this is kind of cool. I didn't see more data about other, like, that's all mental cognitive stuff. But previous work has shown that like they get similarly low risks like any other exerciser would of things like atrial fibrillation, myocardial infarction, heart failure, and stroke. So all those physical cardiovascular things.
So, I mean, this is, like you said, it's good news. I think it's approachable for a lot of people. For some reason, I had like an adverse reaction to it, which is different, I guess, than you. And that is, I don't really want to believe that, 90 minutes once a week is somehow better for you than like some sort of consistent workout. Like I don't know. I feel like that's a better thing for you to do, is to like, work out, even if it's a half an hour walk or a 25-minute walk once a day or 5 times a week. Like that just seems to be so much better for you. But
yeah, I mean, it really matches this. I mean, the intermittent fasting thing is to me a manifestation of the reality that our bodies are meant to have periods where we don't go eating a lot of stuff. And it's probably exactly the same with fitness, where as far as the way we evolved, it wasn't that you did an equal amount of workout spread exactly over the same amount over every day. It depended on what was needed. And there'd be certain times, certain days in the week, perhaps in a given week, where you had to do a ton of stuff, and other days we didn't. So, yeah, I guess not like the conventional wisdom would say, but I think that's sort of shifting as people are starting to realize the importance that randomness plays as far as our bodies go and what they evolved to do. Also, though, Doug, you didn't like when they had those electric robotic legs people could buy to get strap on and hike to the highest mountains that you've trained your whole life to be able to get up. You were sort of territorial there, so I wonder if that's happening here too. You don't want to be able to get the fitness benefit because you've been honing that your whole life.
I mean, there's no way, right, that you're getting the same fitness benefit, like maybe longevity benefit, but as far as like strength and stuff like that,
you're not doing any less time. Remember, it's just you're lumping it in.
I know, but still, like,
well, this thing said.
I don't know. Okay.
A 2023 study in Journal of
I'm
American Medical Association.
Science. I'm not one to argue with science.
You are one to argue with science. You don't believe in science. I've determined that a long time ago when I sent you, several times I've sent you articles that show something like that baseball players can't be streaky. It's just an illusion. If you were rolling dice, you'd also have streakiness of the same type.
That's true.
That's purely
I do choose what science to believe.
Right. You say, well, I just have to believe in the power of confidence. Even if the data doesn't, shows it's not there. Not a science believer.
I'm very much a science believer, except when I'm not.
Which is exactly like being religious, except when you're not, and therefore you're not religious.
Right. I mean, that's actually, I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, you gotta have faith in something, right? You have to have faith that
faith in science. Exactly.
A daily workout is better than once a week.
No, you just have faith in science, or just don't listen to it. Or just acknowledge it. I don't believe in that science stuff. I just believe what I want to do.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So there's that one. Here's the feature story. And then we got one fun thing again at the end from good old Best Life Online, which we couldn't leave out of our last show, even though it has nothing to do with plant-based stuff or fitness, really. But this one does. And not only was it in Veg News, this was not around yesterday. This is new, fresh stuff.
Breaking.
It's even in CNBC's article, which to me was a little more balanced than the Veg News one. Veg News did not provide any context whatsoever about Beyond Meat, the horrible state that the company is in, at least as far as their share price and earnings and all that goes. It was just sort of a rosy picture. But anyway, the basic information that Veg News reported was accurate. I'll give them that. And the news is that Beyond Meat is launching a new steak alternative as it focuses on health. But that headline doesn't capture as much as what Veg News does, which is Beyond Meat announces whole muscle mycelium steak. Very high protein, very low saturated fat. So Beyond Meat is getting into the mushroom root quote unquote game, also known as the mold game, by the way. It's the mushroom root is kind of a euphemism for strain of mold. And I don't know if all mycelium is technically mold or if just the strain that Meaty Foods uses is a mold strain, but my sense is that they all are. No mention of mold in either one of these articles, which is good. But they're going to be. I mean, people cannot wait probably to get talking about Beyond Meat selling mold. That's for sure going to happen.
That is definitely going to happen, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're doing a disservice calling it the mold game.
Well, yeah, that whole thing, it does stick in my mind. It makes me like, I would have been really excited about this a month ago. I would have said, this is great. This is super clean label. I love that they are doing, because they mentioned exactly that. They're trying to make a health play here. And they've decided that that's what is wrong. Why people don't want this. They're afraid, they think it's not healthy. And I think that's correct. I think that is a big thing that is missing now. That was fueling the interest in this stuff in the early days. And now there's just been this backlash and lots of hit pieces about how unhealthy plant-based meats are. So this is an attempt, and I think a well-guided one. They're doing the right thing here by focusing on health. Mycelium, small number of ingredients, as we said in the headline, very high protein, very low saturated fat. And I mean, it's good. Like I said, the meaty steak thing that I tried only twice, I think, and I tried the chicken one, which I didn't like as much. But the steak thing, the closest that any plant-based food I've had to like a real steak. It just had the exact texture somehow, without the fattiness. So shockingly, that it could be that good without fat in it.
Yeah.
So it was really good. So I'm sure Beyond's going to do a great job of this, because imagine what Beyond's budget is compared to Meaty Foods. I would imagine much bigger. So I think they're going to do a great job with this. And even with the mold thing, I will be eager to see how well they do this, because I think it's going to be very.
Will you try it? Will you try it?
Yeah, I'll definitely try it.
Okay.
I'll then be paying very careful attention to my stomach and how I feel.
Oh, and knowing how you hyper analyze every like little thing, you're gonna get sick, but just because you like worried yourself sick.
I know, it'll be a placebo effect that I will. I
don't know. I think this is a great move. I also think, I mean, what's clear over the last 6 months or so since Beyond started using the avocado oil, and now this announcement. And was it Beyond that was doing the new
the sun sausage
meant
to be healthier.
They're trying to, for many years you clumped Beyond and Impossible together, right? They were the same thing. They were trying to do the same thing. I think that now they're separating. Impossible's still doing the junk food burger, trying to make it taste as much like a burger as possible, which is great. I'm happy they're doing that. And now Beyond's kind of choosing a different lane. And I like this. I like that there's so much money behind both of these companies to kind of choose different paths. And we'll see which one wins out. And hopefully they don't go bankrupt in the process. But
yeah, right. Let's hope not. My prediction at the beginning of the year that the Impossible Whopper would be gone by the end of the year so far has not proved to be true. I saw some celebration of the 5th anniversary of it or something by Burger King, or maybe it was Impossible. But I took that as a sign that it's not going away and that it's still doing well enough. But who knows? We'll see. I wish I would have predicted this one. Like, this seems like this is a no-brainer. We should have called this, because the mycelium thing was already on our radar. It was hot. The mold story wasn't out. We should have said Beyond's going to get into the mold game, or the mycelium game, or Impossibles. But yeah, anyway, couldn't have known. But seems like maybe we could have.
Yeah, Daniel P has a good point here. What's your kind of doesn't tempeh also create mold in the fermentation process? And most people consider that normal and healthy.
I don't know if that's technically mold or not, but that is a very good point.
It's fuzzy. It like looks weird. Yeah,
fuzzy. Like you mean like the marbling stuff, like the blue?
Sometimes it's like a little fuzzy, like fresh tempeh.
I don't know that. Yeah, it's mold.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. This whole mold thing is like it's like a nothing burger.
I don't know for sure if it's mold.
Britters has not had the Whopper post 50K splurge, definitely.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Get out there, Britters. And good luck on the 50K.
There's a fungus called rhizopus. That is what tempeh is made out of, along with soybeans. I don't know if that's technically mold or if it's the growth of these. It's the spores of this fungus. I think that's what it is. That's what I think. And who, what's the real difference? Probably none. But
Yeah, none.
as far as classification goes, maybe it's not quite a mold. Because I think we would have heard that before, but I don't know. Good point though, Danielle P. But anyway, Doug, what you were saying, that hadn't quite hit me, but I think it's a very good point that Beyond is clearly choosing the health lane to be in. And by the way, at the beginning of this article, we didn't mention this. They've previously done partnerships with McDonald's, the ill-fated, whatever that was called, McPlant Burger, which did work a little bit in Europe. And they've done Dunkin' Donuts, I think. They had a Beyond thing there. Somebody has Starbucks, but I don't think it's them. They've done the Beyond Chicken thing at KFC. I guess they do the Panda Express thing. But now they're hoping to partner with a chain restaurant known for healthier fare, it says, as part of this new campaign, this turnaround thing that they're doing. And they're acknowledging, they're calling it exactly that, a turnaround, where they're, reinventing themselves.
So they're working with a partner, or they're going to?
I can't tell if they just aren't yet disclosing the name of the chain. Both articles mentioned this. So they did mention in the announcement somehow, they said chain, but I don't know if it's one or they're just kind of hoping that will happen. But I have a sense that it says will likely include a partnership with a restaurant chain known for serving healthier food. So that kind of sounds like there's one in mind. What do you think? What do you think that could be? I mean,
like Chipotle or something?
Chipotle is, I think people think of that as healthier. That would be a good fit, right? Beyond ground beef there, which they already have Beyond. They've done partners with, is it Del Sol? Is that what it's called? That taco place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've done, I got it once. It wasn't really that good. It was okay. So anyway, that's one. Subway is one, but it's hard for me to imagine a Beyond Subway thing unless there was like this new stuff, this Beyond, because they said in this article, this is a little surprising to me, and then I'll get back to my point about Subway. But they said that they had planned to use this new steak stuff, that it could be used in place of chicken, which was surprising to me. It didn't make a lot of sense, but they were saying things like tossed over salads or some other things the way chicken would be. And then apparently they're also, as part of the same thing, reformulating again the Beyond Meat product, the main beef product, and the chicken product. They're making new formulations of those. So I guess they're just going to keep iterating on those things.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that. Keep doing that.
Yeah. But anyway,
they're saying they change away from the avocado oil?
Are they what?
Are they going away from the avocado oil?
I don't know. Hopefully that stays. I think it kind of needs to as far as saturated fat.
Maybe they're going to join forces with Chopped or something like that if they're promoting salads.
That's a good point. They did mention salad. So yeah. So I don't know. But anyway, I was thinking Subway, if they had like a Beyond Chicken cutlet thing, like a grilled chicken thing at Subway, I could see that working because Subway has that chicken patty thing. That's gross.
I don't think it's Subway.
What?
I don't think it's Subway.
No?
No.
Why? What's wrong with Subway? Why wouldn't that be?
I don't know. Subway's too old school.
That's a good point. It does seem kind of old school. Chipotle is probably the best choice. Last thing I have on this, when wasn't there one of these CEOs, either the Beyond guy, Ethan Brown, or Impossible, Peter McGinnis, I think, they made an announcement like in the past 3 weeks saying, we're not a plant-based meat company that happens also to, serve health food. We're a health company that happens to serve plant-based meat. And you and I said, that's crazy. This person doesn't.
That was Beyond. Yeah.
That was Beyond. Okay. So that was a little foreshadowing of what's happening here, that they are really going into the health thing. And it will be really interesting to see if Impossible is the junk food and this is the health. Very interesting to see who wins.
Where's your money?
I would go with the Beyond. I mean, personally, I'd be much more likely to keep spending money on Beyond than Impossible.
I know, but like which company do you think is going to win? Not which one are you most excited about?
I think Beyond. Now, if this is true, if they deliver on this, right, then I just think that's a huge objection. People just think it's like Frankenfood, and it's still going to be that, but at least if they can create the perception that it's healthy by having just a couple ingredients. And partner with, I don't know. I mean,
Impossible. Yeah.
Impossible's done a better job with the branding and marketing. It's more exciting seeming. So you think Impossible?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think junk food wins over health food.
Yeah.
Over Franken health food, like weird health food, right?
Right. So they were just sort of embracing it and saying, we're not going to pretend this is healthy. We're just going to market it funny ways, make it red.
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see which one wins. Okay. So there's your Beyond update. I didn't see anything about the dates when this stuff is coming. I don't think they have released anything like that yet. Just kind of Hint of what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But be on the lookout. All right, and last thing we got. Went back to Best Life Online. Couldn't help but find this one. Couldn't help but do this one. 17 unique hobbies to make you the most interesting person in the room. And the subheadline, you will be the life of the party, it says. All right. Weird article. I'm gonna give you that thing at the beginning. Because right away she's talking about, are you stuck in a hobby rut? Don't limit yourself to the usual baking sourdough or plant parenting. Those seem like pretty good hobbies, kind of interesting hobbies to me. If I met someone who's super into sourdough, I'd be wanting to pick their brain all night at the party. Not as much the plant parenting, but still, I don't mind that.
Yeah,
But then
I like going to a house of somebody who has is like really into their houseplants.
You did? You said?
I love going to a house.
Yeah,
Like when you go into a house and you're like, wow, there are a ton of plants in here, and they all look healthy. They all look great.
Yeah,
I love that.
Right. So anyway, she then says, why not expand your sights beyond your comfort zone and try something different, like climbing a mountain to iron a shirt? Yes, this is a real hobby. I'm not making it up. Anyway, she goes on, and the list begins, and it turns out that one does show up in the list, so it's a real thing. And so eventually I wondered, is this a real list, or is this like joke, tongue-in-cheek list? Like, is this not going to make
this is a real list?
You think so? It's a little bit far-fetched, but we'll get into it. Some of them
Well,
are
I mean,
really
how many? You got to get a little far-fetched to think of 17 unique hobbies that aren't just like running or triathlon.
Okay. Number 10, circus arts. Nothing impresses friends, acquaintances, and prospective love interests more than a person who can display killer trapeze skills. Bonus points if you can juggle. You think that's serious?
I mean, I think that's cool. That's
a cool skill.
Right? Like, what if
Does
you
nothing impress people more than that?
Well, that's not true. I mean, that's probably AI written, but I mean, like, let's say you're at a party, you're having a drink, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, I got a trapeze competition this weekend." Oh, aren't you a little bit curious? Aren't you a little?
Immediately, I pegged that person as this is one of those ironic people. They also do hula hooping in the parks, I'm sure sometimes. This is Doug's friends who have those parties. What are those things? Equinox parties. I just say this is that person. Drives a Subaru, does trail stuff on the weekends. That's it. Pegged. No need to talk to them anymore.
I mean, that's my kind of person.
No need to ever hang out with them again.
That's my kind of person. All right, let's run through the list real quick.
Here we go. We'll go kind of quick because it's 17 of them. Number 1, urban foraging. What does that mean? What's urban foraging? The picture shows like what looks like rural foraging to me. It shows mushrooms.
It does.
Flowers and things.
I mean, urban foraging, I feel like is just going around and like stealing people's flowers from their garden beds.
Yeah, or dumpster diving is what I would.
Or dumpster diving, yeah.
Yeah, so no explanation really given here. Combines survival skills with culinary adventure, making you the talk of your next party. Bad start to the list. I mean, it should have just said foraging. That would have been interesting. All right, number 2, historical reenactment. Not just Civil War buffs. Consider this hobby a combination of Halloween with putting on an immersive play. So I guess people do this. They go reenact battles and stuff.
So this one cracked me up because the whole premise is most interesting person in the room, right?
Right.
And I would peg that person. I mean, nothing against people who do historical reenactments, but I would not be super excited to like hang out with that person.
No, that's a very boring person. And I there's got to be a line, I guess, between totally nerdy, uninteresting, and like nerdy, really interesting. Because there's a fine line there. You can cross it, and then you're done. By the way, this is not LARPing. LARPing is later, so don't get excited, audience.
Yeah.
I think this
and
is
that's
LARPing.
different. I mean, LARPing. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Okay, number 3. Here's the one she mentioned: extreme ironing. This is a thing. There's an extreme ironing bureau. Again, I'm just questioning the article. Like, is this a joke or what's going on? But the latest danger sport that combines the thrills of an extreme outdoor activity with the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt. That's from the Extreme Ironing Bureau. That's their words. No other explanation really than that.
I mean, this makes no sense. Like, where are you plugging in your iron?
Yeah, right. Good point. And I guess certainly they have a portable solution for power nowadays. Battery pack you can plug into, AC. I have a couple of those things. And you'd haul along your board maybe and your iron stuff, your equipment, like you would if you were.
I'm not into this one.
This almost sounds like glamping or sort of like comfort, hiking.
Glamping.
Yeah, like you're hiking, but you gotta keep your clothes well pressed, so you include this in your pack. Little travel iron kit.
Okay. Disagree. This is nothing like glamping. This is just weird. If someone is into extreme ironing, I really want to talk to you. I mean, maybe this is the most interesting person in the world.
So
that's true.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I'd say that person is a freak and weird, but I guess I'd be interested a little bit.
I'd have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. Yeah.
You think that person can carry on a normal conversation, though? It just doesn't seem like the type of person that you could really engage with. But I guess I shouldn't pigeonhole like that. Number 4, geocaching. People say this is really fun. I've never done it. I don't even really know what it is. But I know people used to be really into it. Seems like something you'd be into, Doug.
I would be into it. I've never done it, but it is interesting, right? I mean, you like find a location and then you have to like figure out where something is hidden, and it's also kind of like problem solving and puzzle skilling. And also, I don't know. I mean, I would be into this, or not into this, but I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I have no clue how it is. I thought like you get a location, and then if you can get to that location, your phone will ring a bell or whatever, and you'll get some kind of points or something.
Yeah.
Which, like, if there was real treasure there, I'd be into it. Maybe like a crypto tie-in with this, where you actually get some Ethereum dropped into or some Solana, more likely, dropped into your account.
Yeah.
I'm actually
geocaching and caching is super fun. And then this is a good joke from Kate Rivercat. Says, I have a pile of ironing for them to take a look at.
Yeah. It's funny. If there was like extreme laundry doing it, that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, drone photography.
No.
I think I've actually a few times recently said, well, that's a stunning shot. And of course, it was done by a drone, but those are shots we don't often see. They do real estate photos now of your house. They do that with drone photos. And when we sold ours, they did drone photos, and they look pretty good. All right, mushroom cultivation. Now, I like this, but this is no more interesting than sourdough baking to me.
That's right. That's true.
Have you been sleeping on growing exotic mushrooms at home? Yes, I guess I have. All you need is a mushroom growing kit, and you're off to the culinary races. I see those logs you can buy that like just put out mushrooms, and mushrooms grow on them.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a bad gift. I wouldn't mind getting that for
I would be really into this idea. And I think it'd be cool because then you could kind of I don't know, I would like to try if someone had me over and like had a bunch of mushrooms to sample or something. I appreciate that.
Definitely. Be a little scared about dying, but interested. All right, number 7, astrobiology. That's, I guess, the search for life beyond Earth. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know what you would begin to do other than like, conspiracy theorize and stuff. But it's interesting. Watch a bunch of movies, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
What's the space movie where they go through the black hole? Interstellar. I watched that on the plane to Colorado. And I don't know, it's a good movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's a good movie, and made me want to jet off to another foreign. It didn't make me want to do that, but it I don't know. It made me think about life beyond.
That one's on my list to watch. It's been on my list for a long time. I haven't ever seen it because of the length of it, and I tend to stay away from long movies. It's like 2+ hours, right? 2 hours and 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's almost 3 hours, and I got to say, it's kind of slow. There's a lot of like interesting parts to it, and like mind, games to it, but it is kind of slow.
Yeah, what I heard was like you really have to actually pay attention for the whole 3 hours.
Yeah,
and that's really why I haven't gotten to it. But it does seem like the kind of topic I'd be into. So I'll check it out. I'll use that as my motivation to do it. Does that have Matthew McConaughey in it?
Yes.
Does he say all right, all right, all right?
No, he doesn't.
You do that every movie, like how Arnold
every single movie.
All right, number 8, antique restoration. Doug, this is up your alley. You could do this. Probably not too far from woodworking, right?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do this. I don't have a good eye for like choosing the right piece. Is the problem. Because you have to pick the right piece that would look good when you restored it.
I'm sure this is kind of interesting to do once you get really into it. This would not be interesting at the party, though. I don't think.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that.
All right, number 9, vintage computing, and they show a very old, dirty computer here. Dirty, I don't know how you could get a computer that dirty. Anyway, yeah, I mean, people restore old computers and tech. I got a little excited about this because I've been doing some vintage gaming, and I really like vintage gaming. Yeah, nothing really more to say about it, but it's really fun. I don't think it makes you interesting at the party unless you come across another vintage gamer.
You're calling people lame, and you're getting into vintage gaming.
Exactly. So I don't know about this, but yeah, I could see this being cool. I could see it would be cool to have a collection of really old computers, a little timeline, have them polished up, working. You can go in and play on an old Apple II or whatever.
No, there's nothing cool about that. I mean, maybe in a museum or like something that you could like go and experience it, But if you had your house full of old computers, like
No.
you would just look like a hoarder.
Yeah, sure would.
Yeah.
All right, number 10 is the circus art zone. We don't need to talk about that. That was all I read. All that there was to say about that one. Cool hobby, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Seems a little tongue in cheek blurb though. All right, sustainable living. This one, Doug. This is
Terrible hobby. I mean, great hobby. You should just do it. Terrible thing to talk about at a party.
Yeah, it's kind of like being vegan. It's like it's a good thing to do, but if that's like your whole identity is that, and that's all you can talk about, the people who even aren't, and it feels like you're trying to push them into it, like probably happens with sustainable living. There's probably a lot of holier than thou vibes coming off of those people, who are into it as their hobby. I don't know. Loses the appeal to me.
I would rather spend an hour talking to somebody about historical reenactments than about sustainable living.
Yeah, I mean, sustainable living is so boring to me, and partly because I'm not that motivated by it. But the topic is just, I don't know. I just can't imagine something more boring than that.
Unless you're like a no trash guy.
If you have some niche thing that's cool, like a what's the vegans who would go out of it was Freegan? Is that what it was? Where they'd go dumpster dive and be vegan?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a cool niche thing. Terrible lifestyle, I'm sure, but but it's like at least it's a branded kind of thing. All right, couple more here. Calligraphy.
Nope.
No.
No.
Yeah, I can do some calligraphy, Doug. It's not something I really take a lot of pride in, but if I have a calligraphy band, I can produce the letters that I'm supposed to produce.
I mean, calligraphy is beautiful. It looks great on a wedding invitation. I would not want to talk to you about it at a party.
Yeah, right. What about like typeface? You into that at all?
Like am I into different typefaces?
Yeah, like some people are really into that, and they know the history of them, and they.
Yeah, I think that's actually kind of interesting. That's kind of cool to know the history, and then also like to really be able to put meaning towards the different typefaces.
Right.
I think that's cool.
And have like historical context, and be able to look at one and say, "Oh, well, that looks German," or "That looks whatever."
Yeah,
it seems cool. I talked to someone at a party about typeface. I could get into that.
I watched a whole documentary about what was it? What's the like? And not Ariel. It's but the like most
Times New Roman.
No.
Palatino.
No.
Ariana Grande.
Helvetica.
Okay. I don't know. Is that a serif or sans serif?
Sans, right? Like no little loopies.
It is sans. I looked it up. Very good.
Yeah, an interesting documentary.
I do like sans serif. I don't know anything about typefaces really, other than people into it, but I often do set things on sans serif for ease of reading purposes.
Yeah, it's
not
more modern, cleaner.
Very different from that.
A little like more minimalist.
Yeah, right. Okay, number 13. Here's LARPing. LARPing, of course, stands for live action role playing. We have talked about LARPing a little bit before on this show somehow. You see people do this. They dress up in costumes and they go out and act like they're from
medieval times.
Yeah, medieval times. They all have like these British accents from them when they do it. And do they throw axes, or is that just like a totally different thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes they have battles and stuff.
But like, there's axe throwing clubs and stuff I've seen, and I don't think you have to.
I think it's different. Yeah, that's just
okay. Yeah, I've seen the huge battles where they have foam swords and stuff sometimes.
See, I think that'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be like a game. It'd be a little like, I don't know. I get into that. It's like the pretend play that my kids are playing all the time, but grown up style, and you get to whack each other with a foam sword.
I can't imagine going to that and seeing like what are there rules to it, or you just kind of someone says, you got hit, you need to go down or whatever. I don't know, but I mean, it just seems like the nerdiest thing you could do. But maybe that's what's interesting about it.
Nerdier than computer collecting?
I think so. I think you have to be like, delusional to do this.
I disagree. I disagree.
All right, number 14,
Man, we're
cryptography.
good thing it's our last show because we're gonna piss everybody off. 'Cause most people probably do one of these. All right.
Well, okay. We acknowledge that we like a few of these. Cryptography, not to be confused with cryptocurrency, which is somewhat interesting, although maybe wouldn't be interesting to talk to somebody about.
Yeah.
Cryptography is just solving cryptographic puzzles. Uh, the more creative the codes and ciphers, the better. I mean, I don't know. I used to see this in like Games Magazine. There'd be like things you have to decode, and it was interesting. Use a few of the basic techniques, count which letters are the most common, and try replacing that with E, for example, and then see if you can start to find the and other words, and then you start to look at more. Like, kind of interesting, but
Mhm.
I think computers kind of killed this, didn't they? Like, it just seems like any like
Which is
action,
why I think it'd be kind of fun. I mean, right?
like you use a computer and you know that you have the software to.
No. Oh, I don't know about. I
Oh,
don't know
you're
how.
saying just do an old hand game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know what's involved here.
Uh, so Eliza, my daughter is into ancient Egypt right
Oh yeah,
now,
that's cool.
and we have this book that you have to like decipher different hieroglyphics. You have like a key, and you got to
Uh-huh.
figure out what they all say. And that's been I don't know, it's been really
Yeah.
fun. It's kind of like this, just kind of problem like puzzle solving.
You're grooming her to be on a list like this one day, be the most interesting person at the party who's into ancient Egypt. That's a
Yeah,
that,
and
that could be a rating on this list.
afterwards we do a lot of LARPing with Egypt LARPing, which I guess is kind of true when we're doing pretend play.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Does she ever play what's the famous princess?
Um,
Mata
uh,
Hari, is that right?
I don't know.
No. Mata Hari not at all that. But she's from World War One. Come
I
on.
know. I don't know why I'm like.
There's King Tut, and then there's
Cleopatra. There you
Cleopatra. Is that her favorite one?
go. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah. Nefertiti, don't forget that's
Mhm.
classic. Okay. My wife's really into this one. Number 15, custom toy making. The picture is exactly like, I mean, not exactly, but it's very, very close to the animals that
Yes.
she produces when people have.
That our daughters still
Um,
have in their beds.
That's cool. A lot of
Mhm.
people keep these things forever and take pictures of the kids next to them,
Mhm.
every year or whatever. So they're really great gifts, thoughtful, take a ton of time for her. But it's cool. So yeah, people do this. And I guess it's a nostalgia play. I didn't really get that, but I
Mm.
guess it is that. It's a niche interest with nostalgia, and you kind of it's not. I guess in some cases you could make things just like they used to be made. Uh, she said this says bonus points if you restore 1980s dolls and action figure toys, He-Man, She-Ra, Gem, GI Joe. I didn't know people did like restoration of those things. I thought it was more like if it's not in the original box,
Yeah.
it's worthless kind of thing. But maybe the author just doesn't know, or maybe I don't know. Imagine that. Okay, 16, fermentation. I mean, this is a great hobby. I think this is fantastic. But this to me, by the way, sourdough baking is a form of fermentation. Author who says that doesn't count. But yeah, kimchi, kombucha, delicious homemade cheese, pickles, of course. Serve it with your foraged herbs. So you're supposed to do all these
I
hobbies to be
can't
the most
believe
interesting
if you
person?
do all these, you would be the
Yeah.
most interesting person. You will probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
any be going to any parties because you'd be too hobby based.
No, definitely not.
Mm.
All right, and last one, meteorite collecting. Okay. A meteorite is one that has entered the Earth's atmosphere, and a meteoroid is, or a meteor is just out in outer
Mhm.
space. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Okay. Um, yeah, and I guess you just collect them. And what would you find them, or you go buy
You
them on eBay, or
probably
what?
there are probably locations where we're known to have them. You maybe go hunting,
Mm-hmm.
meteorite hunting.
The author she could have given us a little more information about these, like a link for where to
Mm,
go to get
mhm.
started with this, or like even something basic like that. Do you buy these? Do you find them?
I don't know.
But
Not that
anyway,
interesting to me.
no, that's really not
Um,
very interesting.
what's missing from this list, Matt?
Well, vintage gaming, I think, is one that's
Mhm.
not. It's not the same as vintage computing. Uh, I don't know. I feel like I have some of these things, but I don't.
Mhm.
Can't think of any.
Mhm.
I mean, playing instruments that doesn't count. if you were like in a tribute band and
Mhm.
you were really you were so focused your whole life on exactly replicating a certain member of a certain band, for example, that's kind of cool. That would be
Mhm.
that could
Mhm.
fit.
I think a disc golf
What do
maybe
you
is
think?
that too
What do you got?
popular to be considered on this list? Um, uh,
Hard to
how
agree.
about jazz record collecting?
I mean, I'd be kind of into that. That's kind of lame though. Like
Uh-huh.
that's just a you're stick in the mud, you snobby. You
Yeah.
think you're better
Okay.
than everybody
How
else.
about
Do you collect jazz records? Doug? Are these
yeah,
your
yeah,
hobbies?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Well,
that.
for
Like, are you
jazz
into
hour,
the?
I much less so these days, but I used to.
But you just collect the records, like you just see a stack of them, and you just buy them, or are you like you
No,
seek out certain
I
recordings from
used
certain
to
artists?
hunt jazz albums. Hmm.
Oh yeah,
Um, but it's been a while since I've put any effort into that.
well, that's kind of interesting. Now that you mention it,
Oh,
I'm
there you go.
curious.
There you
So I guess it
go.
is
uh,
metal
metal
detecting. Kate
detecting.
suggests
Hmm.
something is like that. And yeah,
And
I never got into
Phil
that.
says
It
this,
would
and I
make life
couldn't agree
cool.
more. Being nerdy can be fun and interesting, especially when you find others who share your interests. And that's so true. It's so fun to like if people are really into LARPing or
Mhm.
foraging for mushrooms or whatever, like, and they get together and they go out and do that thing together. There's nothing better than that.
Agreed. Yeah, we
Hmm.
make fun all we want, but I would love to have any hobby where I was that into it, had a group of people who were also that into it, and I wouldn't care if anyone,
Hmm.
stupid morning show host thought I was nerdy. I wouldn't care at all. So I do agree completely there. Britter says ham radio is her nerd hobby.
Ah,
You got to watch that time travel movie with ham radio. You
no,
know
what's
that one,
that?
Doug? Let me tell you real quick.
Frequency.
Frequency,
Okay.
great movie.
Ham radios.
Britter,
A lot of
sorry.
ultramarathons still use ham radio. They, bring in the local ham radio club to,
Mm, because it's like
yeah,
dependable,
and like you in
whereas
remote.
something
I
else
mean,
goes
you don't
faster.
have to have self service or whatever. You can go out to these remote locations, set up
Right,
your
right.
radio so that the aid station can communicate back. Um,
Yep, yep. Um, okay, and then I'm reading back a little bit. This may be Britter's best comment. Always judge the one who loves Comic Sans, and that is completely true. If someone's into Comic Sans, if they start a new business and they put that on their sign when
uh-huh.
they're starting the business, I'm saying I'm not going there, and I'm not because it's going to be out of business in a few months anyway. Like if you're putting that on your sign, you shouldn't be
Hmm.
starting a business.
Fair enough.
It's not good. No one takes your thing seriously, and it doesn't look fun or playful. It just looks like you have no taste.
Hmm.
Uh, Full freaking vegan from Parks and Rec. LOL. What
That
is
was
that? I've seen Parks and
the
Rec.
freaking
Oh,
commented.
there's one of them in Parks and Rec. I don't remember that part.
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah. Okay. She also mentions orienteering, which I guess is a hobby. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. Orienteering would be something I'd be into for sure. It was a local orienteering club.
What is that? I think that's just sort of like a skill that, like, if you have
Well,
in
they have a
case
bunch of
you get lost
races
or
and
something. Is
stuff
it
where
something
you
too?
get a map with like just some X's and some general directions to it. Like there's a building here, and you
Right.
have to like the first one to go and check in at all the spots and then come back. So you're having to
Mm-hmm.
plan. You're having to use some map directional skills. Having to maybe bushwhack through some forest area, something like that.
So kind of like geocaching. I mean, it could easily
Well,
be
I
combined with
mean,
that.
yeah, I guess it could. I mean, but I think orienteering tends to be within a confined area. Geocaching is like, you might go seek out one. But yeah, similar.
Gotcha. Um, Good. Okay. Bridger says Ron from Eagleton only eats veggies and other people's trash from other people's trash. LOL. The Eagleton stuff is funny. I do like when they bring in Eagleton. But I'm surprised there's someone named Ron in who's not Ron Swanson. I'm surprised they have another Ron
Hmm.
in Parks and Rec. Okay. I think that's it. I think we're done. All the comments are in. We've read them all the good ones anyway. Yeah. Anything else, Doug? I mean, this is our end. This
Yeah,
is the
you know
end of
what?
the
I have
show.
something to
Give it
say.
like
I have
a
a
sign off thing.
Doug's final thought.
Oh, good. Okay.
um, I don't know. This is a half thought that I was thinking about before we started the show, so it's not very well planned. But
Perfect content then.
we started the show as a way to this show as a way to share plant-based news, but most importantly, be lighthearted and fun, and show that veganism isn't militarism, isn't can look a lot of different ways to talk. I mean, we've come out with some takes that I'm sure are not popular with a lot of vegans, and said things that like I said, I wouldn't probably not be considered very, very kosher to certain vegan crowds. But you know what? We're welcoming, and we wanted everybody to come here and be able to talk about health and talk about plant foods and plant forward eating and the lifestyle. And I think we've accomplished that. I think that's been pretty successful. So my plea to everyone listening here, and my challenge to everyone, is to keep that going. Be a good open vegan, if you are vegan, and go out into the world and spread some I don't want to say love. That's a little too cheesy, but open-mindedness, I guess, is what I want to say.
Yeah, I like it. That's very true. Well said, and a very important point. That, I mean, I didn't often think about what really is the point of the show. But if there is one, that's it. I mean, we talked a lot about how dumb it was, a lot of the content that we did, and throwaway episode. But I think that you're right. That is what it actually was about. Was being people, showing that there are people who can eat this way, but not, but that doesn't mean anything about your personality. It doesn't imply something about you want everyone else to do this, or that everyone else is wrong for not doing it. And I think that's a very good point. So, and obviously, I think the people who were attracted to the show were similarly like-minded, almost entirely. So this isn't like saying, "Hey, look how awesome we are." It's that everyone who found this, this is our nerdy hobby, perhaps.
That's right. Britters asked if we should shout out Garuda. I mean,
Garuda didn't make it.
He didn't make it to the final show.
I wish he would have. Maybe he'll watch it online and leave us a comment or something. But I enjoyed Garuda's contribution to the show during the last, whatever it was, quarter of our history or something. But really, like that, everyone said, "Oh, known troll of vegan morning show or vegan YouTube shows. Like, he's a notorious troll. He's whatever." And the fact that he was attracted to this and turned out to not ruin the show, and we actually welcomed him and had fun. I think that speaks to what we were trying to do, right? It worked well.
Absolutely.
We really tried to be try to be welcoming. So anyway, yeah, thanks, Garuda.
And I'm not gonna make any promises here, but if Matt and I can get our hands on some cultivated meat, I will come back on and do another episode.
Yeah, you're right. Who says we can't do one-off?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there might be some themes that have happened over the last 2 years and some breaking news that we would want to bring back and talk about. But we'll see. No promises there. Dale says, she's not good at goodbyes. And remember, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
That's Dale's most common comment on the show. Probably.
I love it.
Single most common said thing. All right, Jackie says, "Why is the show ending?" No huge reason. Just kind of, we just sort of feel like it's reached its potential for what we can do with it right now, and we just think, and there's potential for something else in the future. We don't know what, but we figured let's just not keep coasting along here. Let's either take a break, or I shouldn't say break. Let's either stop or let's come up with the next thing if there is a next thing. So we said we're going to do that for now. But it's been good. It's been a fun time. Like I said, I was not lying at all when I said that I really have enjoyed. I can't believe we did something this repetitive, not just because the content's the same. I mean, repetitive in terms of showing up for a show every 3 days a week, 5 days a week at the beginning, for this long. And it actually is a very positive thing, not something I dread or anything like that. It's really been a fun thing. So, and that's because everyone made it fun. Everyone who showed up. Yep. If it was just you and me, it would have been terrible. We wouldn't have done it. But yeah, anyway. So thanks everyone for all the time, all the contribution, all the comments. Who knows how many there have been over the past 2 years. And I guess that's it. Anything else, Doug? He's going to send us out. He's going to play us out with the uke.
Thanks for coming to the Plant-Based Show.
Wow, look at that. Ready, made, rehearsed. Very nice.
Uh,
Okay, perfect ending. Thank you, Doug, and thanks everyone for all your time and all the contributions to the show.